Live from Orlando, Florida, you're listening to the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, the voice of Magic fans. Join us every week for a unique fan perspective on all of the latest Magic news and updates. The show starts now.
Welcome back to another episode of the Orlando Magic HQ podcast, brought to you by the FanDuel and Believe Podcast Network. We're your hosts, Al, myself, Anthony. Today is Friday, 10/10. Orlando Magic basketball is back, baby. Super excited. Man, I feel like these last 4 months have been such an extremely long. This is by far one of the longest off season that we've had, Al. And Magic already, we're recording this Thursday night, dropping Friday morning. So it means that after this episode, it's game day, day 2 of our preseason. Magic already got one preseason game under their belts. It feels good to be back into the swing of things, man. Orlando Magic is long awaited, seeing some of these players that we've been waiting to see what they look like in Magic uniform, and we've already gotten a taste. So Al, how excited are you? How are you feeling? We got Magic basketball back, baby.
Man, it's exciting. I think what made it feel so long is the fact that we've been waiting so much to see, Bane in a Magic uniform. We've been waiting to see Suggs come back on the court. And of course, the expectations that we have for this team, which we'll talk about in this episode, right? But that made it feel so long because, again, we're finally healthy. We're finally loaded with a team that truly is the best that we've had on paper in a long, long time. But, man, we made it. After today, we were talking about it off the air. It's back. Like, we have a game tonight. We have a game on Sunday. We have a game on Thursday, and then opening night. So Magic basketball is officially back after tonight.
Yeah, so in today's episode, we are going to touch a little bit about touch on Media Day. We're going to talk about the first preseason game and then just kind of our season preview for this year. So before we jump into the episode, just remember, don't forget to follow us on social media accounts on Orlando Magic HQ on IG, at Magic HQ on X, so you can stay up to date with all the latest Orlando Magic news, rumors, updates. We'd also really appreciate if you like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast listening platform. It goes a long way, helps us continue to grow our audience and reach even more Magic fans with the content that we love creating. So with that being said, one of the biggest things that we've heard from Media Day, the first thing I'll say is just a level of excitement from Jeff Weltman. It's one thing for the fan base to be excited. It's another thing for the players to be excited. But for Jeff Weltman to come out and really say that he's never been more excited since he's been here, for him personally, to me is such a huge deal because this is go time. We've heard over the offseason that it's time to hit the gas pedal a little bit. It's time to sacrifice some defense for some offense. And now that we kind of see exactly what the hell all that meant and actually have this full team roster and the adjustments that they've made, it's got to make you feel good that he feels good about it, right? This is the guy that he's been slowly, and I say that boldly, he's been slowly piecing this thing together. And we finally really get to see the full vision of it. This isn't just let's wait and see what can happen. He stepped on the gas pedal. He definitely did that. So now we get to see this vision come to life. So jumping into Media Day, what were some of the things that you were excited about when you hear that he's excited? What goes through your mind?
I think, it's exciting to see the fact that, like you said, Weltman had said it's saying it, like, this is the best roster he's seen assembled in Orlando Magic, his tenure here with the Magic. And he said himself, this is a team that's able to accomplish some big things this upcoming season. Of course, a lot of good things have to happen, right? Primarily health. That's the biggest thing for us. But he really did it, man. He did everything we've been asking for as a fan base off of him this offseason. He finally said, hey, let's make the big trade. Let's acquire the shooter. Let's acquire some offensive power off the bench in Tyus Jones. He made some big moves, letting go of Cole Anthony, letting go of KCP, drafting 2 rookies that we did not expect. We expected him to come out maybe with no rookies out of the draft. So he made some bold choices, man. And let me quickly talking about the rookies. They've looked good in summer league. They look great in preseason. They look solid. So we may have something unique here in these rookies that we drafted this year, which explains why he decided to keep those picks and trade up in the second round to get Panda. So the fact that he's excited, I think that carries on to the rest of the team, right? To the players, to the coaching staff. Like they all know this guy went all in for us. He's given us a chance to stay together for so many years, keep building and building. But now it's time to go. Everybody got paid. Everyone, we got the rebrand down. Everything we've been wanting, man, it happened. Now it's time for us to perform, meaning the players. And we got to show up as a fan base, man, and support this team. Everything he could possibly do. There's nothing else. Like, what else could he have done to make us happy? I cannot think of one thing. Maybe adding another shooter off the bench. But hey, we got time for that. We got time to make that later on. But I mean, it truly, I think, carries a big weight. The fact that he feels this way, he's making it known. We're going in now. We got to win starting today.
Yeah, and it's everything that's being kind of put into a package, right? It's not just the roster. It is the rebranding, which is such a huge deal. The Magic look clean. They found a way to be able to find balance between old school and new school, and then on top of that, you're really pushing the envelope. And we're hearing rumblings that Suggs, the goal for him is opening night for him to be able to return. So we all know that Suggs is such a driving force for this team. This team isn't complete without Jalen. When we think about some of the elements that we were excited about last year, right, with Jalen Suggs and KCP, that there was supposed to be this crazy 1-2 punch. We really never got a chance to see that due to Jalen Suggs being injured, and then also due to KCP just being underwhelming, right? So now we get to kind of see this relived, but on a different threshold. Like, Desmond is going to bring and we already saw a glimpse of it, but he's going to bring an offensive punch that we're just not used to seeing from that 2-guard spot. So that's exciting. And then kind of transition into Mo Wagner. Mo Wagner, we're getting reports that things are progressing well. He's no longer rehabbing, and he's really just trying to get into shape. So when you hear these things connecting, now you're starting to see that this team is really able to pick up from where they left off, not from last season, but the season before.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all would have wanted to see Suggs in training camp, in preseason, right? But hey, the fact that they said opening night, because for a little while there, it felt like, wait, we're not going to see him until late November, December. That was kind of scary for a few minutes there. But the fact that Weltman himself said in training camp, media day, that he will be ready by opening night. That's the hope, at least. Suggs said it himself. That's huge, man. Even if he's off the bench initially, kind of gradually get him back in the swing of things. The fact that he can come in and drop, 12, 15 points, that energy on defense, getting the crowd going at home makes a big difference. Mo, same thing, right? So Mo, we know we need his offense off the bench. He played incredible last season off the bench. Truly our sixth man before he went down. One of the best sixth men in the NBA before he went down. Again, it'll take him a little while to get back to the shape that he was in last year, to his performance level being at that level. But if you add those two guys to this team, just, man, the antics, right? The way that they get into the opponents, what they create with the crowds at home, we need that. We need that from those guys. So hopefully Suggs will be ready opening night. That's the hope. Mo Wagner, I'm okay with him being, maybe mid-November, late November. That will be a dream in my eyes. Knowing the Magic, they might hold him up until December just to kind of give him the whole year to recover. But you can tell the way he was speaking, like he wants to get out there right now. So hopefully we'll see him soon. And talking about injuries, I'll add one more, which to me was a big talking point, and that was J.I. He, once again, has said, number one, he looks great. He looks slim again, so he looks like J.I., not this massive version of J.I. that we saw last year that was sluggish, couldn't shoot, couldn't move around. So it seems like defensively he'll be much better. But to me, the big takeaway from his media day press conference was the fact that he said that he doesn't think there should be a minutes restriction anymore. That if it was up to him, there is no minute restriction. And his goal is to play 82 games this year. So knock on wood, man, because if J.I. can be back to the J.I. that we all know defensively, not even offensively, just defensively, and give us what he can give us on that end consistently, that would be extremely good for this team as well. So if those three guys, Suggs, Mo Wagner, J.I., can stay healthy this season, Mo and Suggs can come back here fairly soon. That's going to be a big difference maker for us this season.
Yeah, listen, Mo is not Dennis Antetokounmpo. He is not here for the ride just because we're trying to make Franz happy. And I think that that's the strength of Mo, right? Is the fact that he is such a polar player. He's somebody that can get under the other team's skin. He's a dog. He has this alpha mentality. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. Obviously, took a massive pay cut to be able to continue this run with Orlando and being able to play with his brother, man. That's a big deal. But he's contributing, and I think that that's such a huge piece. The bench does not feel right without Mo, and I don't think that there's any stronger highlighter than that of last season that showed that he was missed, right? There's been moments, let's not forget those moments where we remember watching Mo play, and there's moments where we're like, what are you doing? And then he finds a way to really just be a pest offensively, defensively, and he is a big body. So I think that when we talk about X factors, the Magic have so many different players, and I think that that's going to be an element of surprise that a lot of teams aren't going to be able to figure that out too early enough. That the Magic has a lot of different players that can fill that X factor role. One night it could be Mo. The next night it could be a slimmed down Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan Isaac gaining 30 pounds last season really came in heavy, preparing to play more of that 5 spot. Now we're asking him to get back to what he's good at and where he feels most comfortable with his body. And you can definitely see that, and we'll talk more about it in a few moments. But in that preseason game, you can see the difference. There were times in that game where, for a moment, I thought it was Mo Bamba out there. Like he is tall, lanky, skinny. A little PTSD from the Mo Bamba era, but it's good to see him in such a fit shape because we know what Jonathan Isaac is able to bring. And then what we loved hearing is the fact that the identity of the Orlando Magic has always been us on the defensive end. So that's still a topic, a high topic and high focus for this team. Everyone is talking about whether it's The Athletic, whether it's Sports Illustrated, whoever it is, they're all talking about if the Magic can find a way to still be, a top 3 NBA team on the defensive end, and we're just a middle of the pack offense, that's already going to catapult us forward. Because we were able to still do the damage that we did, being a top 3 defensive team and being one of the worst offensive teams in the NBA.
Yeah, and I think the goal for the Magic, we heard at media day, is not to be top 3. Like their goal is, hey, we can also get better on that end of the floor. We're a year more experienced. Guys should be better on that end. So they want to be the best defensive team in the league. And to add to that, Franz and Coach Mosley, they said it also. They're not here to compete, man. They're here to contend. And I love that quote from Franz because Franz is coming from winning another gold medal with Germany. So this guy's used to winning overseas. He wants to finally start doing that here with the Magic. And then Jamal Mosley has said it before. That's it. Like we've gone through the struggles of losing in the first round, the years of rebuilding. We've been through all that. Again, we're here to win now. And again, no one outside the locker room, according to his own words, has higher expectations than they do themselves. They know that this is their year to really make some noise. Don't forget, man, the East is fairly weak this year. Unless something crazy happens with injuries across the Eastern Conference, the East is fairly weak. We got the Knicks, you got the Cavs, you got the Magic, you got the Hawks, really. Like that should be it. Unless Philly gets a fully healthy Embiid back or a fully healthy Paul George, Milwaukee overperforms. Like this is it. This should be the 4 teams we hear all season long contending in the East. So the Magic know this is a year to really make some noise. They got to get it together, man. So I love the expectations. I know they all say it too. The vibes feel different. The seriousness level, like it's a little bit different this year. So the fact that you got guys like, again, mostly Franz saying these things, carrying over to Paolo, Suggs, those guys, the main core of this team knows what is at stake. You love hearing that as a fan base. These guys are locked in and ready to go really since now.
And I think the most important thing for this team is that there's been so much positive talk from an outside source perspective on the Magic that the Magic can't afford a slow start. Obviously, it's going to take some time for this team to get adjusted with this new personnel. But the Magic are going to have to find a way to really strike hard, and strike early. The Knicks, man, when I look at the Knicks and how in their roster, how they're set up, the Magic the Magic would match up extremely well against the Knicks. The Cavaliers, at the end of the day, the Cavs are going to be the Cavs, and they've already shown that they are still the Cavaliers, right? That's a team that has unfortunately have had our number for a minute. It's a team that we're going to have to smack around early. The Hawks, everyone's talking about the Hawks and how they're really pushing it forward, and they obviously added a lot of firepower to their team. It's another team that you might have some concerns with, but we're gonna have to attack early. So I do agree that the East is a little weak. But at the same time, if the Magic don't bring it, nothing is going to come easy, and we're going to have to be able to show these teams early on that we're serious, that we're for real. And the number one thing that has to happen for the Magic to do that is going to be the health. We can't go another season blaming this season on us being injured. I feel like we've been having the same excuse for such a long time. That at some point something has to give. And I think that one of the strengths that you'll see for the Magic is the fact that, in my opinion, obviously we're biased, that we're really deep. We're going to be able to have a team that has the next man up. When you have a player like Goga that is your third string center, I feel great about Goga. He had an amazing offseason playing Euro basketball, and he's somebody that has already shown that he can step in and he can do big things for us. So I'm excited for what we have and the team that we've built. I'm excited for the versatility of this team. I'm excited for us to be able to bring, at least at the jump, a healthy team. And in the event that basketball happens and somebody goes down, that we have players ready to be able to step in. So a lot of great things coming out of training camp. It's being reported that we have a healthy team so far. There's obviously been a big emphasis on playing at a faster pace. We heard the report from Jamal Mosley saying that nobody is hurt, but players do feel sore because of this fast pace that they're playing. And then the reports are that Desmond Bane, Tyus Jones, and the rookies are adapting well, and they're focused on learning the system and the schemes. And we can definitely tell that from the first preseason game. So we get to the first preseason game in Puerto Rico. How are you feeling? What are your thoughts? What did you think about our first game with this new team?
I think it was exactly what we expected, right? As far as it being really sluggish, a ton of turnovers, guys kind of just figuring out their plays, where to be. But a few takeaways, so make it brief. I know it's preseason. We don't really have to go too in depth into this, but man, Desmond Bane, what a what a difference it makes having KCP in the corner waiting for the ball to having KCP, Bane was just, coming off screens, shooting right away, creating, attacking the basket, playmaking for Wendell, which, by the way, keep an eye on that. I think Bane alone is going to make Wendell a much better player offensively. Just cutting to the basket, easy alley-oops, easy dunks. We saw a preview of that in the first game. But Bane, man, truly a breath of fresh air in that first game, seeing what he can become in this offense. Jace, how can we not talk about him? Jace in the third quarter, putting on a show, making us quickly forget about Cole Anthony. Small guard, offensively minded, just like Cole. But man, one thing is different. This kid is poised. This kid is control. He doesn't seem to make too many mistakes. If that continues, again, I think the fan base will miss Cole Anthony, the guy, the person, right? But on the court, the big difference is he seems poised. He seems very under control at all times, not playing too fast, letting the game come to him. And three-point shooting, man. He went 3 for 3 in the third quarter, making it look easy. Just shooting wide open looks, shooting contested threes, making them easily. So keep an eye on him. Lastly, Da Silva and Jett Howard. That's going to be a fun battle, in my opinion, throughout the whole year. Who gets the minutes? Who's going to step in and be that, backup 2, backup 3 role? Both looked okay. In my opinion, Da Silva looked better on both ends of the floor. But Jett added a new element to his game, and that is he's attacking the basket on top of shooting the 3 ball. That's different. If Jet can do that, you no longer can just simply sag off of him or attack him, on the 3 point line. You gotta actually defend him going to the basket and getting easy layups and dunks, like we saw in the first game. So that'll be intriguing to me. I think Da Silva for now has locked in that backup 2-3 position. But again, Jet, man, this is his year. He cannot mess around. Like he needs to play well to get a new contract. So that'll be a fun battle. But in game one, both look good. Both deserve to be out there. Both played solid. Lastly, AB. Not that it matters. It's only one game. It's preseason. But he did look a little sluggish out there on the court. A lot of turnovers. Didn't make a shot. Just seemed like he was, I don't know, hesitating a little bit too much. This is year 3 for him, man. You gotta be getting things figured out as a playmaker out there. But outside of that, man, it was fun to see the team finally competing against another team. They looked good. They won the game. That the third stringers and the G Leaguers put on a show in that third and fourth quarter. But what about you? What were some takeaways from you? Anything that impressed you in that first game?
So the first thing I want to say is that Miami Heat court is absolutely horrendous. It was rough watching the game of how dark from either the streaming service to just the way that the court appeared, or maybe the way that the gymnasium was.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it was a rough, dark watch. But outside of that, man, it was cool that they were in Puerto Rico. I was actually in Puerto Rico that week, missed San Juan just by a couple days. This close of being able to time it together. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but I thought it for the most part, it was fun seeing them out there. It was rough in the beginning, a lot of ugly plays and ugly basketball, but expected, with the off season being as long as it was. I think that you can definitely take away a lot of preseason going a little overboard and exaggerating what we saw, right? It being a little more passionate on specific items. For example, I saw a lot of people on social media with Anthony Black kind of just saying that, he hasn't improved. What has he been doing all season? Everybody needs to relax. Anthony Black is going to be just fine, right? What you said with Jace. Jace had a little bit of an ugly first half, but second half, he was awesome. There was a lot of good things that you can take away. My only concern with Jace is that, third quarter, fourth, we didn't see our starters back into the second half. You didn't see any of that for the Miami Heat either. So I would have loved to see him have that type of production against, high caliber NBA players. But the fact that he can still get that under his belt, and he was able to overcome like a not such a great first half, was definitely fun for me to watch. I think the biggest highlight for me is definitely Wendell Carter. Like if we can find a way for Wendell to be as productive as he was on a consistent basis, the Magic are going to be all right. When you take a look at our roster, and you look at what you would consider like a weak spot or weak position, unfortunately, you're looking at that 5-man spot with Wendell. You can talk about Wendell being undersized. You can talk about Wendell not being a true center. You can talk about a lot of different things, but Wendell does a lot of good. And if we can find a way for him to be consistent and be healthy, the Magic are going to be dangerous, because some of the things that I saw with the playmaking from Desmond Bane, with the 3-point shooting, he was playing tough. He was playing aggressive. He looks like he has been in the best shape. Like he looked like he had a really good offseason. Now, can we see that consistently? That's going to be the biggest thing. But I really like what I saw. Paulo Banchero out there getting active, getting a handful of blocks for us was really neat to see. He wasn't as active offensively as I was hoping for, but again, preseason, all that's going to come. So overall, really good showing. Glad we got the win. It's always a good time when you're able to beat the Miami Heat in any capacity. It doesn't matter if it's preseason or regular season, but the fact that they're out there, it started. The rough part is we have to wait so long for this now game 2. But as you said earlier, now that we have this game happening now, is just going to start rolling, and we're going to get more Magic basketball as it goes on.
Yeah, man. The last takeaway I had from that first game is the floor spacing. If you noticed, I think there was a couple of times Apollo went to the basket and got layups. And I think that he was surprised of, wait, like, what was this double team? What was the triple team that I'm used to getting? That wasn't happening.
Right.
And mind you, France didn't play in that game. So that's the exciting part. Like when we have, Bain, Franz, Jalen, Paulo, and Wendell out there, the defense can no longer just throw three guys at Paulo every time he tries to post up or attack the hoop. So that's going to be fun, man. And I don't know if you've seen the videos from training camp, like Bain practicing those quick catch and release shots. That release, man, is like half a second. Like it's incredible. So all that to say that when Paulo gets double teamed, if you try that and you kick it out to Bain, he doesn't need much time to get that shot up. So it's going to be a fun year, but to me, keep an eye on that because that open space for Paulo and France to create and attack the hoop, that it's new territory for them. They've been doing so amazing this past 2 years, being double team, being triple team. Now that shouldn't be coming as often this season. So that'll be fun to watch too.
Yeah, it's going to open up the offense. When you think about the Magic being 27th in offensive rating last season, the early questions are: is adding Desmond Bane, Tyus Jones, is it enough? Right? Obviously, you add the rookies. Is it enough? The hope is Franz comes back and he takes a leap. The hope is Paolo Banchero finds a way to take another leap. The hope is Jalen Suggs just stays healthy. That by itself is going to open up the offense. And yeah, Paolo Banchero, Franz, the way that they're so dominant in the paint, teams are going to have to make a decision. Do you send the double team to Paolo and Franz? And if you do, is it worth the risk of being penalized by Tyus Jones being wide open, Desmond Bane being wide open? There's going to be a lot of points where it's going to be pick your poison.
Yeah, I mean, I think to answer that question, like, did the Magic do enough by adding Bane and Tyus? Like, it's not going to fix our 3-point shooting issues. I think that helps big time. Let's start there. Bane is one of the top 3 shooters in the NBA, right? It's Curry, Bane, and a few other guys, but he's up there. That's going to help big time. Tyus has shot over 40% the last, I think, 2-3 years. So that's going to help for sure off the bench. But think about guys like Franz, J.I., Wendell. Are they going to struggle as much as they did last year? I truly don't think so. With the floor opening up a little more, guys focusing on those prime guys more and more, you'll see Wendell more open. You should see Ji more open. Again, guys like AB, they should be taking a step forward with their shooting. Tristan shot it really well in Eurobasket. He's shooting it so far really well in preseason. So I think Jet Howard, another guy that we've been kind of forgetting about. Like, hey, we kind of don't think that he'll be a guy that may have rotational minutes day one, but say he does. That is his strength. He's a shooter. Can he actually come in and shoot 35, 36% off the bench? So I think, again, I've said it before too. I think that I would have wanted one more like vet shooter that you know for sure what you're getting out of that guy. But that is what February and the trade deadline is for. You experiment, you give these guys 6 months, 4 months to figure it out. They still have that weakness. This is something to improve. The right trade comes about to add a vet that can shoot it. Then you make that move. But for now, I think the front office did as best of a job as they could. They did more than we expected. So again, I think we'll see a leap from the existing players, but the new guys will help us a lot too.
I know you well enough to know that you're trying so hard not to say the name Malik Monk. You're trying so hard not to say it. Yeah, and that's the thing. We can't automatically assume that this is it. This team will look different as time goes on, but we'll get there when we get there. This team already looks so different from last year. Every year the team is different. But what I like is that we're already seeing different offensive schemes with our new offensive coach. So we're already seeing a little bit of elements of changes from the coaching personnel and literally just from the player personnel. So you love to see it. Tyus Jones. Man, it is so good to be able to see a real point guard out there, and so different that it is. It's been awesome because we're already seeing, pick and rolls being utilized differently, dribble handoffs being utilized. And again, the Magic have so many different things now in their disposal that they're gonna find they're in a position where they're gonna find ways to win and win more often. Now, can we see that production be consistent from the bench? I think that that's going to be the biggest thing. Our second unit has struggled with scoring the basketball. That's going to have to come from Tristan Da Silva. That's going to have to come, obviously, with the healthy Mo Wagner. And I want to see an offensive push from Jonathan Isaac. I think that's something that that he's been really, really underwhelming in for some time. The corner 3-point shooting, I'm hoping that comes around sooner rather than later. He keeps shooting it. He shoots a lot of it. We just need to see that ball go through the hoop, because if he can get that figured out, it's going to be disastrous for these teams when these players go out and you're bringing in that second unit, and that second unit is doing damage. Now, what I want to see moving forward is us utilizing it. Maybe we'll see this with Franz when he returns and we start getting like full-time minutes. But now that you have Desmond, Franz, Paolo, Carroll, Jalen Suggs, like you're able to stagger these players more with the second unit, and that's obviously going to bring up the offensive play from the bench, because now you're having a lot of those players play with that second unit team. So, man, it's gonna be fun. But I think that teams aren't really prepared yet with how much they're going to struggle with what we have.
Yeah, I think to that point, I think the bench scoring was an issue last year. I think it will be early on until we figure things out this year. But eventually it shouldn't be, right? To your point, there should not be a time where you don't have Paulo, Franz, or Desmond Bain on the court. Like, one of those three guys has to be on the court at all times, carrying the load offensively for us, at least being a threat on the floor. I'm also going to challenge AB, man. AB looked great at times last year. He scored 20 points a couple times, had a new career high. He had games where you're like, wait, if this kid can play at this level, like, man, watch out. We don't need 20 points a night. We just need 12, 10. Like, he can give us that boost of the bench, a couple of 3-pointers, a couple of layups and free throws on a nightly basis. But I think AB is the guy I'm challenging the most. But then Coach Mosley, like I said, don't allow there to be a time in the game where you don't have one of our core guys on the court at all times. There should be at least one of them at all times to control things and settle things when we need it most. Because we cannot afford to be up, 7, 8, 10 points. The bench comes in and the lead is gone. Like, that happened a ton last year. That cannot continue to happen this year in order for a team to be successful.
This season, there's obviously a lot of narratives and storylines to follow. Ben Carroll getting a massive extension, and the pressure to live up to it. He got top dollar, so now it's you got the Magic delivered. Now Paulo has to deliver. The Bain trade, we gave up a lot for Desmond Bain. On paper, it fits. It makes sense. Can that come to life? Chemistry. Last season, or just the Magic in general, we've always had good team chemistry. From what it sounds like, that's continuing, and that's part of the reason why the Magic have always gone after good character, high character players, because we've seen the chemistry already. Even now after preseason, for a player like Jace had a good second half, and a lot of the starting guys, they came out on social media and they're supporting the rookie, which is awesome. So when you're taking a look at this year, what would you say is the biggest storyline that people need to keep an eye on?
For me personally, it's Desmond Bain. I think that addition is going to make us such a better team day one. Again, just watching that one preseason game, it was refreshing. Like, I put it on Twitter too. I'm like, when was the last time that we had a 2-guard that not only could shoot it, but also attack the basket, but also play make? We had some responses. Some people said Vince Carter. Some people said Oladipo. I'm like, true. Like, it's been that long. And no disrespect to Evan Fournier. He had his time to shine with the Magic, but you can't compare the two. You can't compare Bain to Evan Fournier. Like, no disrespect. But all I'm saying, man, it feels so refreshing knowing that you have a 2-guard that does what a 2-guard is supposed to do. And that is, again, carry the load when you need him to, shoot the ball, provide that spark to help support our other guys on the court. So I think that's the storyline for me. Also, a big one for him. I think we're all forgetting one key thing with Bane, and that is that he has been a bit of an injury prone player in the past. He's played, 56 games, 60 games. The question here becomes, can he come to Orlando and avoid that? Can he play, 65, 70 games for us? It's okay to miss some games. It's going to happen. But can you play the majority of the season? Because if you don't, all of a sudden we're back to last year's issues where we're now not having a two guard that can shoot the ball and help Paolo, Franz, and Jalen kind of open up the court. So we would need that healthy Bane to be out there and for him to be effective and productive. Like, he cannot come here to be shy. Like, we need him to shoot the ball as much as possible. Take 10 3-pointers on 9 if you need to. Like, don't be shy. We need that from you. And Coach Mosley told him day one, he said, like, be you, come here and just shoot the ball. That's what we need from you. So that to me is a big emphasis for our team this year. If Bane can be who we think he's going to be, that's when I think that's going to unlock the rest of the players and this team to really achieve something unique this season.
Yeah, and the report is he's already showing leadership traits. He's been vocal. He's come out and said that he's been vocal since he got here. He almost feels like he's too vocal, which is great, man. We can't just rely on one player to lead the pack. It's going to have to come from different angles, and the fact that Desmond comes from a Memphis Grizzlies team that, whether you like them or you don't, they were a very gritty team, and we need some of that grittiness for the Magic. The Magic need to have that type of that level of persona, that level of swag that I think that he's going to be able to bring. We've seen the videos, we've seen the highlights, we've seen the games. Desmond is not a player that is going to back down. He's going to get in your face. He's going to get under your skin. And the Magic now have a handful of players that's able to do that. So now when you're seeing all these different elements come together, when we're talking about what the ceiling is for this team, where do you see that? What do you view that for the Magic?
I think the ceiling for the Magic, in a perfect season where we are healthy, we're doing what we're supposed to do, it's got to be top 3 seed for sure. But if we're talking about ceiling here, I'm going to go with the second seed in the East. I'm not going to go for the first, but second seed to me would be really like, whoa, like we did better than we expected. I think we would be happy with home court. But in reality, if we can achieve the second seed, kind of making a push for the first seed, that's going to open up some eyes for our team this upcoming season. What about you?
I think that this is probably, I can't remember the last time that I've said this, but if we're talking about ceiling, what is the definition of ceiling? Is ceiling what's possible? It's not impossible, and I think that me thinking about what's impossible is what gets me the answer. It's not impossible if everything goes right, and this is health. This is Franz Paolo taking a step further. This is Desmond Bane working out the way that we think that it is. This is our young guys taking a step forward. The ABs, the Jet Howards, the Tristan da Silva. This is Jace being able to produce at least a higher level than what we saw from Cole Anthony. This is everything going right. Coach Most winning Coach of the Year. When I think about what is making it to the finals impossible, I don't think that it is. Obviously, this is extremely homer of me, but I don't think it's impossible. So if it's not impossible, then getting to the finals would be the ceiling for this team. It sounds crazy. Do I think it's going to happen the very first time that we really have this team together? Probably not, but it's a ceiling. Not saying it's going to happen, but it's not impossible. And I think that we need to have that view when talking about this team, because maybe we might have to learn a little bit before we get there. But maybe we don't. Like, this team is good enough. And I think that we got to hang our hat on at least that this team is at least good enough to surprise a lot of people. So might be homer of me, but ceiling, NBA Finals, Eastern Conference Finals, put the final title in there, and I think that for sure that should be the ceiling. Now, this is the part that's scary, is what would you consider the floor for this team?
So I'm going to address really quickly. I focused on the regular season, but if we put a ceiling real quick on the overall season, I agree with you. I think for me personally, it would be the Eastern Conference Finals. I think we need to fail one more time before we make that next leap.
Man,
However,
we've done enough failing now.
However, look at Indiana last year. You never know what could happen in the playoffs, who gets hurt, who doesn't. So to make the finals, it should not be something that's like insane for this team. So ceiling for me would be Eastern Conference Finals, but if things play right, the finals are something that we should aim for. The floor. So the floor would be, man, last year 2.0. Maybe not as bad with Paulo and Franz both having random injuries. But what about Jalen Suggs not being back to himself, getting hurt again? We just talked about it. Bain maybe not playing 50, 55 games. So now, again, we struggle to shoot the ball again. Defensively, do we take a step back? Maybe we came in too confident and now we think we, deserve to be in the playoffs rather than earning that playoff seed. So now all of a sudden, the Magic, heck, we are back at not having home court advantage. That to me is a floor. So that could be being anywhere between the 5th seed to the 7th or 8th seed. That means that we potentially may have to go into the play-in if injuries are a big deal. That would be like, man, that's the worst case scenario for us this season. There's no way. I mean, no disrespect to any other team or fan base, but there's just not enough talent in the East this season for us to now make the playoffs. So we got to at least get into the playoffs. That's my floor for this team. But that would be the scary part, that all these high expectations, all this, dreams of making it to the at least another round. And now all of a sudden, injuries derail that for us once again. That to me would be the biggest kind of scary situation for this team. What about you?
Yeah, so the way that I see this season in the off season is that we're kind of pretending like we had a successful year last year, where we have to take a step forward from what should have been our success from last year this year. So obviously, home court advantage has to happen, right? Getting out of the first round has to happen. But I'm even taking it a step further. Magic need to get out of the second round. Like there's enough money being invested right now to where this team has to perform. And there's no if, ands, or buts about it. Like I'm terrified for Jamal Mosley if we don't get there. Because now is the time where now people are responsible. It would be irresponsible for the Franz, the Paolo, the Jalen Suggs, the Coach Mosley, the Desmond Baines to not make this work because of how much money that's being invested. So when I think about what is the floor, the bare minimum floor is getting to the second round. Bare minimum. And that's getting there with home court advantage. Like that is bare minimum. And the next question would be, if the Magic don't get out of the second round, would you consider that a unsuccessful season?
I would have to see how things play out. Meaning, are we fully healthy at that point? And who do we match up against? Was it a bad matchup where we now ended up with the Knicks or Cavs in that second round? Or did we lose to the Hawks, who I think we should beat? Because again, we have more experience than they do in the playoffs the last few seasons. So I think it will depend on that. But I do think, I agree with you, we got to get out of the second round. Last year, to me, was a fluke. We should have been a top 4 seed last year if it wasn't for Paulo and Franz being out for such an extended time. So this year, we cannot just hope to get past the first round. That shouldn't be the goal. It should really be to reach the Eastern Conference Finals. Because again, last year, we should have won the first series had we been fully healthy. So it's tough to answer again, not knowing all the factors, but I'm going to agree with you. I think that would be failure in my eyes. We should get past the first 2 rounds if we have home court advantage in both cases.
Couldn't agree more. So let's get into real quick the NBA GMs. They went through a survey, and I just want to get your quick thoughts on some of the high points, right? Where they came out and they said, or based on the surveys, it was the Magic were tied second with the Timberwolves as the best defensive team. OKC Thunder ranking first. Is this surprising?
I think it's fair. I think Minnesota is a great defensive team. So OKC, of course, they won the finals, right? They're the champs right now, so they're going to get some love there. I think it's fair. I think that basically puts us top 3 in the NBA, which, hey, that's how we ended last year. So um, can we take a step forward this season? That would be the goal. I think if we can be top 2, top 3, heck, the best team in the NBA defensively, and like you said earlier, some way somehow be middle of the way offensively, 15th, 16th offensively, man, watch out. I think that would be ideal for this team. But I do agree with the rankings. I think top 3 is pretty fair for us.
The Magic are ranked first as an NBA team, which will be the most improved in this upcoming season, receiving 47% of the votes.
When compared to last year, yes, I do see the Magic winning. And next week, we'll do our predictions episode. So I'm not going to go into the number of wins that I predict for the Magic just yet. But I do think they should win at least 10 more games than last year. So just because of that alone, again, better offense, we should be a top seed in the East. Yes, I do agree that we should be one of the most improved, if not the most improved team this season in the NBA. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that the defense is going to be there just because that's just our identity. We're not doing anything crazy different that's going to change our focus around what makes us, our identity, right? And then you bring in a big player like Desmond Bane, who's not awful on the defensive end. He's still going to be able to hold his own. Is he a player that has a 7-foot wingspan that we love as our archetype? No, but he's still somebody that can defend and is going to just add to that. If anything, he'll become a better defensive player because now we're asking that more of him and we're going to hold him accountable for it. The Magic were ranked fourth in the best overall moves this offseason, and Desmond was second behind only Kevin Durant as a one-player acquisition that will make the biggest impact.
I also agree. I think that when you look at our offseason, definitely one of the top 5 offseasons in the NBA for a team. Probably even higher than that, if you ask me. We could have been top 3. But definitely the Bane move, I think, shifted everything for us. It's exactly what we needed, right? I've heard it so many times in different podcasts, like, did the Magic overpay? The response is always maybe. Like, it's never a yes, they definitely did. It's always a maybe. However, the fit is so
Wait and
great,
see.
you have to pull the trigger. The fit, again, you could have only really truly acquired from a shooting standpoint Steph Curry as a potential like better fit than Desmond Bane for this team. And even then, he would demand the ball too much. Like what makes him so good in this team is the fact that he doesn't need the ball. He can again complement Paolo and Franz so well on both ends of the floor, and he brings a major need for our team, that is shooting. So I do agree. KD to the Houston Rockets. We'll see how it plays out. Can he stay healthy? Can he stay healthy? I think we may look back at the end of the season and say that Bane was the best move of the offseason. But for now, we'll give it to the Rockets and say that KD was the number 1. Do you agree with both of those rankings?
Yeah, I do. Listen, the player, the everything is set for the Magic to be successful. Desmond Bane is going to be all right. Desmond Bane is going to be Desmond Bane. I don't see him being the type of player that will be any different than what we saw from Memphis Grizzlies. If anything, Paulo and Franz being so elevated, I think that it's going to even be better for him because he's still back in Memphis. You still had Ja, and then you still had Jackson, so he's still kind of played that third filler, and you're still kind of getting that same feel here. So I think the transition is going to be just fine. And then last one, the Magic were ranked 5th among teams with the most promising young core.
I think that we are ranked way too low, man. I think people
I think so
forget
too.
how young our team is. I think people think, oh, Paulo France are like 25, 26. No. These guys are 22, 23 years old. You got AB at 21, Jace at 19. Like, our team is extremely young. I don't get how a team like Detroit gets ranked higher than us. And no disrespect again. I think they're a great team, but what have they proven? Like, they're good on paper, but we've proven more than they have in the last couple of years. So when you think about future thinking from a young core perspective, I think we should be higher than them for sure. So I think we should be top 3. Again, that's maybe the homer, like you said earlier. Maybe we're being Magic fans. But yeah, I definitely think we should be top 3.
Yeah, I think the same. I think that when you take a look at Franz Wagner, there's a world where in a redraft Franz Wagner goes number 1. Not for every team, maybe not every person thinks that way, but the way that I view it is Franz Wagner is a number 1 pick in the draft talent player. Like in other drafts, if he was picked number 1, maybe not in a Victor Wembanyama draft, but in other drafts, if the player that you got was a talent of Franz Wagner, you would be happy with the get that you got. So I think that the fact that the Magic hit on 2 of those guys, 2 number 1 pick in the draft caliber players to lead your franchise, how is that not higher than a top 5 young core? And this is not even including the Tristan da Silvas, the Anthony Blacks, the now Jace Richardson, the Jalen Suggs. Like there's just so many elements that it's just hard to argue otherwise. But top 5 is still top 5. So definitely a lot of different surveys, and when there is interesting to see the outside perspective from the NBA general managers on their thoughts about the Magic. But overall, from what it sounds like, again, just that outside perspective is teams are now higher on the Orlando Magic than what they used to be. That's on paper. Now we have to actually come out and show it. Tonight, Magic take on the Philadelphia 76ers. Interested to see what players are going to be available. Sunday, Magic play against Miami. So a full weekend of Orlando Magic basketball, and then followed by Thursday against New Orleans at 7 p.m. Season and home opener Wednesday, October 22nd at 7 p.m. That's a wrap for us. I appreciate everyone for listening. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
For all the latest Magic news and updates, visit OrlandoMagicHQ.com and follow us on Instagram at Orlando Magic HQ and on Twitter at OMagicHQ. Also, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe and leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening platform.